Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. So this week we are going to be talking about 7 different types of foods that are really amazingly good for your health, but just really not that great for you if you're somebody who's currently going through eczema or any other kind of allergic skin condition. So I have a few different caveats I want to mention with this video. So first of all, no, not everything in this list is going to apply to you. The list of foods that I've got here is a combination of research of common sensitivities and allergies, as well as anecdote and my own experience. So just bear that in mind when we are going through this list. Second of all, the good thing about most of these things is as your skin does get better, and if you're currently somebody who has got quite a lot of flares or you're going through quite a severe patch of eczema, then as your skin gets better, you will most likely be able to incorporate more of these foods back into your diet. So the final thing is that with most of these things, you will be able to have small amounts of these things in your diet. So me, for example, I would have small amounts of all of these things, unless of course there's something that you're severely allergic to, then of course you want to avoid them altogether. But these are more things that you want to be careful with and have in moderation rather than cut out from your diet completely. Another thing I want to mention is that when I first started out my kind of eczema healing journey using diet and lifestyle, I was very dogmatic about the fact that as long as it was natural, it was going to be good for me. And with time and experience, I have come to learn that just isn't the case. There are things that even if they're natural, they're just not very good for me because I either have a specific allergy to them or they just generally just don't make me feel that good. So I always encourage all my viewers to never think of anything as super black and white. Just be very conscious of what makes your body and your skin feel good, and that is going to be the best way for you to manage your specific condition. But before we get started with the video, like always, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos about skin, hair or health, I highly suggest you subscribe because I make new videos every single week. So the first thing on the list is citrus fruits, and I think the most obvious thing about citrus fruits, this being oranges, lemons and limes, is that they are extremely acidic. And this can be problematic, especially when it is coming in contact with eczema or reactive skin. So when you are eating something, it's very easy to get contact with something either through your hands when you're kind of peeling them, or your lips or your face. And even when you're eating it, it kind of comes out into the air, which is why you get quite a strong sort of orange smell, you know, when you're eating an orange. So this can be problematic for people with very reactive skin. But like I said before, myself, I would always have a little squeeze of lemon and some water first thing in the morning. That was fine, but I perhaps wouldn't have, you know, a big sort of orange that needed peeling every single day because I knew that that just wasn't great for my skin. And I think a lot of people also have similar experiences with this. So if you're eating a lot of citrus fruits and you are finding you're getting a lot of flare-ups, this could be a contributor. Maybe this is something you want to tone back on. So the second type of fruit that I want to mention is very sugary fruits. Now I have talked about sugar quite a few times, and sugar I think is one of the biggest exacerbators for people with inflammation and inflammatory skin conditions, and that does include fruit sugars. So the main ones here are things like mangoes, pineapples and grapes. These are obviously all delicious and very nutritious and very healthy for you, but in small amounts because like I said, these are quite sugary compared to lots of other fruits. You can have low sugar fruits like berries and apples if that's something you tolerate, but these particularly tropical fruits, they can be very sugar and raise your blood sugar levels. So the other thing I want to mention with sugary fruits is that when you do have them, it is better to have them with something that is going to slow down the digestion. So either some form of kind of like a granola or some kind of yogurt or something that is going to essentially bring down that blood sugar spike when you are digesting it. The third thing on the list is quite a broad bracket, and I didn't really know how exactly to describe it, but I think that this is something that I know a lot of people have issues with. It's just very difficult to say one specific thing here, and that is fruits and vegetables with skins. So specifically, it is the skins of fruits and vegetables that can be very allergic for people. So for me personally, I am allergic to apples, and I also don't do very well with avocado. So I only have very small amounts of these and very spread out. But other types of skins that people can be allergic to are things like pears, peaches, plums, apricots, even cucumbers. The good news is that often if you are sensitive to any of these kind of fruit skins or vegetable skins, often when you cook the fruit or the vegetable, that does tend to break down some of the enzymes in the skins that are causing the reactions. So you could give that a go if you're finding it difficult to have something in its raw form. Try cooking it and see how that goes. So the fourth type of food on my list is something I've actually never mentioned before on my channel, which is strange because this is a type of food that comes up a lot when people are talking about different types of food to avoid if you are somebody who has an inflammatory condition. And this type of food is called a nightshade vegetable. So Nightshades are a group of vegetables that contain very, very potent alkaloids in them, and some people may or may not be sensitive or allergic to these alkaloids and cause inflammation and reactions in their body. The science around it is a little bit patchy, so I think most of the allergies and sensitivities have been more anecdotal, but a lot of people do report to feeling better when they cut these out altogether from their diet. So the 4 main types of vegetables in this group are tomatoes, aubergines, potatoes, and bell peppers. There's also chilies and tobacco. If you smoke, don't smoke. It's really bad for you. These are the main ones that me personally, I find that I'm totally fine with them when they are in their cooked form. I am quite sensitive to them when they are in their raw form. So for example, even when I'm peeling a potato and I'm kind of handling it with my hands do get very itchy. Sometimes I feel a little bit itchy in my mouth if I have an aubergine that isn't cooked properly. And tomatoes, I do still eat tomatoes, but only kind of small amounts, and I'm much better when the tomato is in like a tomato sauce or something like that. So nightshade vegetables are definitely a type of food that a lot of people say they feel better without. So if there's something you think you could be sensitive to, try cutting them out for a while, try cooking them, and see how you go with that. The next thing on my list is nuts, and I haven't picked any one particular nut because people react very differently to different types of nuts. Some people only have an allergy to one type of nut. Some people have an allergy to all nuts. So the 4 most common type of nut allergies are peanuts, walnuts, hazelnuts, and almonds. And they can range anywhere from just being quite mild, a little bit itchy around the mouth, to extremely, extremely severe, life-threatening allergies. So the thing that is a little bit scary about nut allergies is that they can actually develop later in life, and they can develop quite spontaneously. So if you are somebody who is or has quite like an allergic disposition, I would definitely tread carefully around nuts and not have too many of them, especially if you're somebody who's currently going through a flare or you're having quite a bad patch of eczema. Just be careful with nuts because it's very common to have an allergy to them. So number 6 is cacao or cocoa powder or chocolate, which is so sad. It always breaks my heart a little bit when I have to admit that it's actually not that good for you. So the reason cacao isn't that great for you is because it is a stimulant. So first of all, it has caffeine in it, and I talked about caffeine in last week's video, so you can go check that out if you want to see more details. And the second thing is that it includes something called theobromine. So theobromine is also a stimulant, and it is the thing in chocolate that makes dogs allergic to them. The thing about chocolate though is that most people do not eat large amounts of dark chocolate. I mean, I think, you know, just a few squares here and there are okay. But if you are somebody who is consuming a lot of caffeine, a lot of coffee, and a lot of chocolate, maybe this is something that you want to be cutting back on, because it isn't really going to be doing many favors for your skin if you're trying to heal it naturally without medication. So the final group on my list is a little bit random because I didn't quite know what to call it, but I've called it spicy vegetables. And by this, I mean raw onions, radishes, chilies, and wasabi. So chilies and wasabi, obviously extremely spicy. Radishes and onion in their raw form are also quite spicy, but of course with onions, if you cook them, it does kind of take away the strength of it. Chilies, wasabi, and horseradishes, because you wouldn't really cook a horseradish, those are very, very strong. They're very spicy, and they can be problematic for people who are currently going through eczema or some kind of flare or some kind of allergic condition. That was my list of foods that are obviously very, very good for your health, but of course things that you may want to be a little bit careful with if you have got allergies or allergic skin conditions, because they can be very, very reactive. Is there anything that you feel like I have missed out on this list? Please leave a comment down below. If you have any questions or anything like that, please also leave that. And in the meantime, I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon for another video. Bye!